Hi, everybody. So today, there's a video that I always show within the first couple weeks of school, and I just figured that it was important enough that I share it, even though this isn't a normal school year. So normally, if we were in school, I would have shut all the lights off, and you would know there was a video coming, and I would put up a slide, and that slide would say, "This video is a test. It's a test of your maturity level." Now, of course, you're at home, so you don't have to worry as much about whether or not you snicker or make some sort of immature reaction to the video. But I do want you to try to just watch the video and be open to what I want you to learn. And the second thing is, I want you to ask yourself a question, and it's a rhetorical question. So that means it's a question that you don't really have to answer, you just want to think about it. What do you tell yourself when you're having a hard time with something? When you're struggling, when you hit a wall, when you reach a bridge you can't cross, when you come to something that you just feel like you can't do, when you come to something that you're having a hard time with, what do you tell yourself? What thought processes do you have? I just want you to be thinking about that while you watch this.
How do you get through your day? Make it from one place to another, one task to the next. How do you do it?
Every step of the way in life, there have been people that said that I can't do things, said that I couldn't ride a bicycle. There have been people that said that I couldn't live on my own, couldn't get a good job and support myself, or I couldn't go to college and graduate. I don't listen too much to people when they tell me I can't do something.
And you shouldn't either.
There's not a whole lot that's going to stand in my way. There were a lot of people that when I first started at Hendrick Motorsports, they had no idea what I could do and what I was going to do there. I have some guys that I'm good friends with now, and they told me that when they heard I was coming, and when I first got there, their biggest thing was, what is he going to do?
Hendrick Motorsports is the most winning organization in NASCAR. From Jimmy Johnson to Jeff Gordon to Dale Earnhardt Jr. For any engineer drawn to racing, it's the elite destination.
We need to add a little clearance there for Will. All right.
For Richie Parker, it's been the job for the last 8 years. As a vehicle engineer at Hendrick, Parker designs chassis and body components for all 4 of its race teams and does all his design work the way he does most everything, with his feet.
I couldn't do that.
It's very demanding. When we have somebody like Chad Knaus that comes back from the racetrack and he says he needs something next week that's going to help him win a race, then no is never the answer.
Richie Parker was born in May 1983 in the coastal town of Beaufort, South Carolina. Right away, his parents knew something was wrong.
He said that there was a little issue, a complication, that with the baby. And I said, what? And naturally, I think he moved me a little to the side and said the baby did not have arms. And I just sort of dumbfounded, like, what do you mean?
How cute is he? Oh.
Doctors told the Parkers the abnormality was the result of a non-genetic birth defect, creating bilateral amelia, a limb deficiency.
I'm thinking, how are we going to get through this? How would he eat? How would he open doors? How would he do just the normal day-to-day things? Once I saw Richie, there was no question after that.
He was the cutest baby.
Told you.
You know, he was the cutest. a little more. After about 5 minutes, it was, when can I take my kid home? Just give me my kid.
We wanted his childhood to be as close to any other child's childhood as possible. That's always been our attitude. We are going to make it work. We might just do it differently, but it will work.
We put this on the door, and I can grab onto it like this with my shoulder and pull it out. There were always things around the house that made it so that I didn't need to ask somebody else for help to do it. And that was always important to me. I had two parents that from day one tried to make it so that my life was.
He just walked that plate of popcorn on his shoulder from the counter to the coffee table and didn't spill a single one. I don't know about y'all, but I and my children can't hardly do that just carrying it with our hands. At least one's going to end up on the floor and the dog is going to get to eat it. That's amazing to me.
I guess you could say as normal as possible, whatever normal is. This came off a large bike, somewhat like a beach cruiser.
The other kids in the neighborhood had a bike.
Richie's going to have a bike.
Richie's going to ride a bike. And we understood some of the dangers. We got long handlebars. We bent it up and then bent it out, and we welded a bar across from one handlebar to the other.
Sorry, y'all need to watch me play with my hair.
And after that, he rode the bike with the other kids.
Isn't that awesome?
And he was just a kid riding his bike.
As a teenager, Richie's sense of independence found its sharpest focus in cars.
I always wanted to drive. I was told by a few different people, well, if there's a bus in your area or if there are taxi cabs, then that's all you need to do. You just use that as your transportation. That just wasn't me.
Yes.
When he was 15, Richie spotted.
Yes, that is an Impala SS. It's like a 1960 something. Like, yeah. Nice.
His dream car. A 1964
64.
Chevy Impala SS.
Sweet.
Parker's convinced the owner to sell it. 15 years later, it's still Richie's ride.
If the bicycle gave him a certain degree of freedom, the car, I think, gave him a greater amount of independence and pride. When he's in that car,
check out that steering. Isn't that cool?
In truth, Richie's entire life has been one remarkable study in engineering.
Wow.
We think for the food, we think for the hand prepared, and that's what was used for the nurse.
Okay, this is amazing to me. I wish I had been the person to invent this thing. But do you see this little yellow, well, I'm pointing to it like you can see, but the little yellow thing, and there's a spoon sitting on top of it right there next to his cup? I'm telling, it's absolutely amazing the way he manages to feed himself with no arms.
Nearly every task requires ingenuity.
I can't say there's anything that I can't do. I don't know that there's a whole lot in life, period, that I can say that I can't do. Just things that I haven't done yet.
That attitude carried Richie to his current job at Hendrick.
I think I had about 20 resumes that I went through before I settled on Richie's. I knew he could do the things that I needed him to do. It was more a question of how.
We've got a few updates that we're making to this fixture to make some of the parts more durable and more adjustable than it is currently.
We sat down and he showed me how he works on the computer and how he does his design work. I write with my right hand, you write with your left hand. He happens to write with his feet.
Parker's initial internship with Hendrick was supposed to last 10 months. 8 years and 5 championships later.
10 months. He was only supposed to be there for 10 months, but he did such a good job, just as an internship, but he did such a good job. He became a permanent employee, and has been there for 8 years now.
he's still here. How do you get through your day? Make it from one place to another, one task to the next. Don't ask Richie Parker. He's already moving on down the road.
I'm just never satisfied. It's what drives me. I don't know where it comes from. Sometimes it kind of drives me crazy, but it's how I live my life.
So, back to the question I asked at the beginning. What's your excuse? Right? What is it that you tell yourself when you run into something that you feel like you can't do? And now that you've watched this, I want to ask, what do you think that Richie Parker's response would be? How do you think that he would approach whatever that problem is that you're having? Do you think he would just give up and say that he can't? What do you think he would think about you complaining about whatever problem you have when he has no arms and has to get through life without them? Just something to think about. Something to think about. I hope you all have a lovely day. It's Friday here for me, so happy Friday. And I hope you all have a lovely weekend, even though you probably won't see this until next week. Have a good week. Take care. Thank you for joining me, and think about what sort of problems you really have when you're starting to get overwhelmed. Think about Richie Parker. Thanks, guys.